Welcome to For the Love of Books, a podcast by Culture at NL Libraries.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the North Lanarkshire Libraries podcast For the Love of Books. My name is Chris Wilson, the E-Services Librarian, and today I am joined by a very special guest, Marion Kunderan from the Scottish Library and Information Council, and she is the Business Support Officer there. And there is a particular reason why Marion is with me today, because yesterday was Scotland's reading moment and it was called Keep the Heid. Hopefully you'll have noticed that on our social media in the build up to that. And the initiative has been kind of made readers sign up to a pledge to read yesterday, and Marion's here to give us a little bit more background on the project and tell us a little bit more about why it was done and kind of give you a little bit more information. So first off, Marion, you used to be part of our team and then you left to go and join Slick. So how's it been kind of working for libraries on a more national level rather than just in North Lanarkshire? We'll start off there.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. It's been a real steep learning curve for me. I think I only ever intended to leave North Lanarkshire for a few months on a secondment. So, I said goodbye to all my groups and said I'll see you in a few months, and then there was an opportunity to join the team there permanently, and it's been fantastic, really. I think what the biggest thing has been just the community. You know, there's such a strong library community out there, and everybody works so collaboratively together, and that's really come to the fore in the last couple of years. So that's been great. And then I had the opportunity to work on the new public library strategy, so that's taken up most of the last couple of years, and just the research, and we reached out to colleagues across Europe, and it's been fantastic. And actually Keep the Heid kind of came out of that, the development of the strategy, because we did a lot of working groups and worked with staff on what they wanted to see, and we had a literacy and working group, and one of the things that came out of that was they would love to see a national reading campaign and reading moment that, that really linked back to libraries, and that's where Keep the Heid came about. And we stole the name with permission from North Ayrshire. It was a SLIF, so a SLIC School Library and Information Fund project. They had been working on Keep the Heid and Read, and so we loved the title, and it really tied in well, obviously, to Mental Health Awareness Week. So that's where the title came from.
Fantastic. And what was it we were hoping that kind of readers would to get behind and kind of take part in? What was the kind of main reason for behind the moment?
Yeah, I think it was just to try and re-engage. Well, I don't think we need to re-engage people with reading, because we've seen that it's the country's most popular pastime, isn't it? But it was just even to re-engage with libraries as well. It's been a difficult couple of years for libraries when they had to close the doors, and it's been a stressful 2 years for everyone as well. I think that constant reading the news feeds and negative news stories, it's quite difficult. Yeah, so just trying to get people to realise that even just taking that short time out in the day to read really can improve your stress levels and your mental health. And it came, I think, I think the 6 minutes came from quite a well-documented study by Sussex University that just even that taking 6 minutes was enough to reduce your stress levels by 6 to 8%. And we appreciate that everyone's really busy, and I think everybody can afford 6 minutes in their day, can't they? To stop and take stock and not scroll through the phone and scroll through all the news stories, but just to take 6 minutes to read something that really engages you.
Yeah, and that links in quite nicely with something that we've been doing recently as well, because we had the Read Well NL reading challenge at the start of kind of February time, I think it was, which is kind of sort of very similar actually, because we had the challenge was to read for 6 minutes per day for a 10-week period, which it's quite a challenge to try and kind of commit to it every single day for 10 weeks and kind of do that, but it's a kind of similar kind of idea and kind of sort of just kind of try to push that out more nationally, I suppose, isn't it? So, and obviously, like we were talking there, the health benefits for regular reading are huge, aren't they? Like such a major thing.
Absolutely. I mean, I think the study that the Galaxy Stress research talks about, it's going into that sort of alpha state that you go into when you're reading, where you just disconnect from everything else, and you know, it's got that the old cliche getting lost in a book. I used to do it commuting to work. You know, you're at your stop and you've not even realised that you got there because you've been lost in that book. And it's that, because your brain, so the neuroscientists have looked at it, and you know what your brain does when you're reading, and it creates all these pictures and images in your head, and so you can have slowed heart rate and reduced muscle tension, but it's got to be something that really engages you. And you know, some things I'm sure that you would read would stress you out. You know, if you're reading a really complex piece of work-related material. But then some people might get really engaged in a maths text, or you know, a history of trams. It just, if that's whatever floats your boat, as long as you're engaged, then that's the key. But also, I mean, there's been other studies that show, I think it was at Yale University, the School of Public Health, that reading for 30 minutes a day can prolong your life by up to 2 years. It can slow down cognitive decline. The benefits are huge, and I think libraries have over the past few years have really linked into that through, you know, reading for, well, as you say, you read well, and bibliotherapy sessions, and I think the benefits are huge.
It certainly has become a big thing for us to kind of look into the kind of health and well-being side of things as well, and it's not something that necessarily I think everybody kind of really realises at first, that there are those benefits to reading, and it's not just actually about enjoying a good book. There is actual genuine health benefits that are kind of behind there, and so you get the enjoyment of the entertainment of reading the book, but also the actual kind of health benefits as well, which is fantastic.
And I think there's social benefits as well. I think it's Empathy Day next month in June, and I think the empathy skills as well, especially for really young children, that you learn from reading books, is hugely important as well.
And that, I mean, sharing reading is just as good as actually reading independently as well, because both myself and yourself, Marion, have got little ones, and one of the greatest things is sharing a book with them and kind of seeing their excitement about reading books and things like that. And it's certainly a wonderful experience to kind of have that side of things as well, and adds to probably the health benefits a little bit in there too, because it's kind of such a fantastic experience for both yourself and the little ones as well. And
absolutely.
And helps them develop too. Now, some of our staff have been sharing selfies showing that they have pledged on the run-up to the big day yesterday. What have you guys also been seeing from kind of around the country as other ways of promoting the event? Has there been any kind of standout things that you've seen that kind of has kind of really stood out for us?
I mean, the response has been fantastic. There's been so much on social media, and I think services have really gone above and beyond. I'm trying to think of things that stand out. I mean, I did see in East Renfrewshire them reading on paddle boards in the swimming pool.
Wow.
South Lanarkshire produced a really great video as well, a reading moment they had at Straven. There's been loads actually, and then obviously there's the publicity that's been going on last week with the the big armchair and bookshelf was out on tour across Scotland, so we've got some fantastic images from the Kelpies. We've got a cat on there reading.
I have seen the cat one, and that is a fantastic picture outside the Kelpies. I think that might be a bit of an iconic photo to get used for years to come.
Absolutely. I think. And Glasgow Warriors obviously got involved as well. So actually the responses from our partners as well has been really heartening to see, and I think there's been such a positive response. I know Glasgow as well have been doing a lot of work with HMP Barlinnie, so that's been good. They've been doing a lot of work there with the prison officers and prisoners. Obviously there's a huge focus on mental health there, so there's been absolutely loads going on. It's great to see. I can't actually keep up with social media. I've been trying to troll through it.
It is great for that kind of national sort of feeling to kind of really come through in it, and that everyone has kind of got involved in some manner, in some way as well, and it kind of helped to promote the kind of the benefits of reading, and on a national scale. And like you say, it's not just although it's a kind of public library focused event, it's not just public libraries that have really got behind
No,
it, like
not at
Glasgow
all.
Warriors and things like that. I've seen some of their promotion on it and things like
Yeah.
that sort of stuff. So it's been fantastic to see that kind of wider, even wider than public library community kind of getting
Yeah.
involved.
And I think sectors as well, like library sectors, so the college and university libraries have really got involved, and the school libraries have been fantastic. So I mean, they've have really boosted numbers because they've had whole school pledges, and primary schools have got really. I think it's just an easy sell because it's just everyone knows the benefits of reading, and well, as you say, maybe they don't always think about it, but you know, it's such a national pastime, reading, and it's just bringing it back into focus and making that link to mental health just made everybody think about it a bit more. And I think the title "Keep the Heid and Read" has helped.
Yeah, it's a catchy title for sure, and it kind of does catch the eye a little bit whenever you and the kind of hashtag and things like that on Twitter and things like that kind of makes it nice and easy to kind of follow what's been happening around the country and stuff. It's a great title, and it kind of really kind of makes it easy to keep in focus for people and things like that as well. Part of the campaign was to pledge for 6 minutes, and there has been a target on the Keep the Heid website of 300,000 minutes, and it's been great to see that total kind of rise in the build up to yesterday. And was there a particular reason behind that target that was set, similar to the 6 minutes thing? Was there any particular reason why we set 300,000?
I mean, not particularly. I think just because it was the first time we were running the campaign, so it's difficult when you're setting these targets that you want to be ambitious, but you also want to be able to achieve it as well. And yeah, so it's just the unknown, I guess. So we just went for a target that we hoped we would achieve, and it was actually a daily obsession with us refreshing the page,
checking in on it.
The total either and watching it move. It was great, and some days it really just jumped dramatically. So yeah, that's been refreshing, and watching the tachometer or whatever we're going to call it.
And can you guys see like a sort of almost like a daily breakdown of how much has kind of happened in one day, and kind of is there any way you guys telling where that kind of jump came from and things like that?
I'm not sure. I think we get a weekly breakdown, so I think that's been getting posted on. There's a Basecamp group. So there's people, obviously there's the options to pledge individually, and you can sort of track that to areas. But I think the schools in particular have really helped with the numbers. But yeah, it's actually, there's been pledges from all over, and from like workplaces have pledged, library groups, book groups, and knit and natter groups. So yeah, there's been a whole host of people pledging, and I think our partner support's really helped. Like for Young Scot, for example, have been given reward points to young people for pledging their 6 minutes.
Fantastic.
So there's been a whole host of groups signing up.
Brilliant. And it's been such a great thing to be involved in and kind of see what happened. But I can't kind of let you go without finding out from you what you did yesterday for Keep the Heid. So what book did you read yesterday for Keep the Heid?
Well, I'm in the middle of reading Listening Still by Anne Griffin, which I got from North Lanarkshire Libraries, Coatbridge Library, my local.
Fantastic.
The other day. So it's a really interesting read, actually. It's about a family in Ireland. They run a funeral parlour. But the daughter and the son can actually talk to the dead bodies. They can communicate with them.
All right.
Sounds very strange, but it's a really engaging read. I'm really enjoying it. And actually, it was Keep the Heid and Read just made me think I really need to get up and get some reading material. So went up last week with my wee one, and we got our huge stash of books to read, and it was great to be back in the library.
Yeah, it is. Obviously, as we touched on earlier, it has been a kind of difficult couple of years for the library, so it has been great to kind of being able to get people back in. And I think most of our libraries, if not all of them, now are kind of back to almost full-time hours and things, so it's fantastic to kind of be able to offer that back to people. Finally, do you think that Keep the Heid might become a kind of more regular, a sort of annual event type thing, or in some form, or
Yeah, I mean, I certainly hope so. We obviously we don't know. We'll need to, get feedback, see what everybody's thought, review how things have went. But certainly the level of engagement is really encouraging, and so I'm hopeful. But we need to wait and see once all the dust settles and we review it. And obviously the community will have a big say. The library community will have a big input into that as well.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you very much, Marion, for joining me and kind of giving us a bit of an overview of the Keep the Heid campaign. And it was great to be involved in it and kind of try and kind of promote it in North Lanarkshire and get as many people from North Lanarkshire involved in it and things like that and build up to it. And we'll finish up the podcast now by finding out what some of our staff read for yesterday for their 6 minutes and find out why they signed up to the pledge and why it was important to them. So thanks for joining me, Marion.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And always a soft spot in my heart for North Lanarkshire libraries.
No worries. And we'll cut to the staff now. So hopefully you enjoy hearing why they signed up.
Thank you.
Hi there, my name is Jennifer. For Scotland's Reading Moment yesterday, I read The Return of the King by Tolkien. It is the 3rd book in the Lord of the Rings series. Signing up to Keep the Heid and taking part was important to me because I sometimes forget to take time for myself, and reading a little bit of a book that I really enjoy was really good for my mental health, and it helped me going for the rest of the day.
Hi, my name is Alison and I work at Coatbridge Library. For Scotland's Reading Moment yesterday, I read Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmas. This is a great new book that tells the story of the remarkable Elizabeth Zott, chemist, mother, cook and TV star. It's set in the 1950s and 60s in America, and Elizabeth is all about challenging the status quo, smashing the glass ceiling simply by being herself and telling the truth, which doesn't always make her popular. A chance encounter with the TV producer takes her from her lab to the TV studio and then to the world. And I now really want a dog like 6:30. Signing up to Keep the Heid and read and taking part was important to me because reading saves my sanity. It's my escape from the real world and the gateway to other times and places.
Hi there, my name is Susan Wilson. I work out of Newmains Library. For Scotland's Reading Moment yesterday, I read Lanarkshire Folk Tales by Alison Galbraith. It was a little book I came across while I was tidying my shelves, and it is about all the little stories you hear about the areas you live in. I'm from Lanark in Lanarkshire, and the one that caught my eye was a little folk tale about the Coralin Falls. So there's a little bit about just little stories about all these kind of things that are all these wee folklores that go about your own area. So it's a brilliant read. I'm thoroughly enjoying it, and I'm learning some stuff as well. Signing up to Keep the Heid and taking part was important to me because as someone who's battled with mental health issues over the years, I've always found reading to be a release and found solace in the stories that I've read. I went through an especially hard time with postnatal depression, and being able to escape into a story was the best way I found to get out my own head for a wee while. It helped me escape from my issues for a while. It helped me sleep by getting my mind off things, and in general just helped with my kind of internal battles that I was going through. I'm a massive sci-fi and fantasy fan, and The Lord of the Rings definitely get me through some of my most difficult times, more than anything else. So yeah, I'm a big advocate for reading to get your mind off your problems just for a little while, and I love J.R.R. Tolkien for dragging me through some of my darkest moments. So yep, let's keep the heid and keep reading.
My name is Gillian Hunt, and I'm a community librarian based in Cumbernauld. For Scotland's Reading Moment yesterday, I read Duck Feet by Eli Percy. This is a wonderfully fresh coming-of-age novel following Kirsty Campbell from her first year to 6th year at Renfrew High School. I don't think there'd be many people who went to high school in Scotland in the 2000s or maybe even a couple of decades before, like myself, who wouldn't recognise parts of their own school experience in this wonderful, touching, funny, tragic and so well-written book. I would recommend it to anyone. Signing up to Keep the Heid and taking part was important to me because I understand for myself the importance that reading has on my mental health and well-being, and I always promote that to my friends, family and beyond.
My name is Jean. For Scotland's reading moment yesterday, I read Run, Ruth Run, which is a collaboration by James Patterson and Dolly Parton. The book centres around a young girl coming to Nashville hoping to make it in the music industry, and a retired singer takes her under her wing to help promote her using her contacts. But the young girl has a violent past that is following her and pops up at unexpected times. It's a very good read with Dolly Parton's personality oozing from the pages. I'm a fan. Signing up to Keep the Heid and taking part was important to me because reading is escapism and takes you to a different world for a while, and your own problems seem simpler when compared to the characters in the book.
My name is Peter Benassi. For Scotland's reading moment yesterday, I read England Screaming by Sean Hogg, which is a collection of stories with fiction movie characters as a common thread. Signing up to Keep the Heid and taking part was important to me because reading, as well as being enjoyable and mind enriching, is the best stress buster of the lot. It gives you much needed you time, boosts your mental and emotional health, and is your pleasurable passport to escape into other worlds.
Hello, my name is Catherine, member of Digital Learning Team. For Scotland's reading moment yesterday, I read the book called Fooled by Randomness by Nassim Nicholas Taleb, who is a Dean's Professor in the Science of Uncertainty at the University of Massachusetts. This book is all about the hidden role of chance in life and in the markets, problems of luck, uncertainty, probability and knowledge. In this book, the author talks how luck is democratic and hits everyone regardless of original skills, and how risk-taking is necessary for the large success as well as necessary for the failure, and how successful people share taste of the risk. So it's very interesting and thought-provoking book. Taking part in Keep the Heid was important to me because regular reading habit in general has a big impact on overall well-being. So it is always a good idea to have a week escape from everything, grab the book and just get lost in it.
My name is Thomas Clark, and for Scotland's reading moment yesterday I read The Disaster Artist by Greg Sestero and Tom Bissell. Now, The Disaster Artist is about Greg Sestero, the actor's time performing in and working behind the scenes on what's generally recognised as being one of the worst films ever made, The Room, directed by Tommy Wiseau. The Disaster Artist is a fantastic book. It's evocative, it's funny, it's weirdly touching. It's about the creative urges in male friendship, and I absolutely recommend it. If you haven't checked it out yet, or the film that it's based on, The Room, that you do so as soon as possible. Now, signing up to Keep the Heid and taking part was important to me because for the last 2 years, we've all had a hard time mentally and physically. And the mental health benefits of reading have been proven time and time again, even just reading for a few minutes a day. That's why reading is important to me, and that's why Scotland's reading moment yesterday I thought was such a vital moment to take part in.
So there were some great suggestions for books and also reasons for signing up to Keep the Heid, and I hope you found that really interesting. Some very powerful stories in amongst that as well, which was fantastic. And the book suggestions are fantastic. Now, you might be wondering what I did for Keep the Heid yesterday. Well, I was reading Shuggie Bain by Douglas Stewart. I don't really think anyone needs to really hear too much about what it's about, because if you don't know what it's about, you've been hiding under a rock for the last kind of year or so. It's a massive book these days, and it's been a huge one. It's taken me a long time to get around to it, so I've took that time to kind of get a start on it and enjoy the start of the story. So there you go. The reason for I thought it was important to sign up to Keep the Heid is similar to a lot of other people. I find it a very relaxing activity to read. It helps to kind of soothe the mind and take your mind off any of the issues that may have arisen during the day, and just kind of calms you. And it's a very kind of relaxing activity to do. And everyone finds their own reason for wanting to read and find what they get out of it. And that's one of the fantastic things about reading. Now, before we finish up, we do have a few wee service updates for you. There's still time to take part in our poetry competition. Then you can find out all the details for that at www.culturenl.co.uk/poetry competition. It's open to everyone, and the poems are based on the theme of stories to tie in with Scotland's Year of Stories as well. So that's a great kind of opportunity to get involved in that. And the winning poems that are selected will be published on BorrowBox on National Poetry Day later in October. The other thing that we could mention is that New Mains is still celebrating its 60th anniversary in June, and they are looking to your help to kind of help celebrate by getting you to submit your memories of using New Mains Library, and you can do that online and by visiting our website at www.culturenl.co.uk/newmains60, and you'll find out all the details there. We have also got a new group started in partnership with Macmillan in Lanarkshire called Good Grief to Absent Friends, and it's a discussion group aimed at helping to ease the feelings of grief. And there's currently one group running in Bells Hill on a fortnightly basis, and if you go to our website at www.culturenl.co.uk/Macmillan/good-grief, you will find out all the information about it there and how to kind of get involved in that if it's something that would be useful for yourself. Bookbug is also back with a vengeance, and we have got further sessions back at Bells Hill Cultural Centre as well. And so if you visit their website and look up the Bookbug section, you'll find out all the current sessions that are running. And of course, we are still running our online sessions as well, so you can check them out on YouTube and Facebook every Tuesday at 11 AM as well. So there's lots and lots of stuff all happening, and there's more getting planned for over the summer too, so watch this space. If you have enjoyed this podcast, do let us know by using the hashtag FLB podcast, or by dropping us a little email at librarypodcast@northland.gov.uk. But that's all for me, guys, and a final thank you to Marion for joining me in today's podcast, and we hope you enjoyed Keep the Heid yesterday and got involved and did sign up with a pledge too. Bye for now, guys.